that was dealt with. The second thing is about meat production. And I just, again, it's about government policy and how this fits in with the Climate Advisory Council's views. We know that the beef sector is effectively controlled by a handful of very, very profitable companies. We've heard so much about beef barons and that sector over the years, while at the same time there are so many small farmers that struggle to get by on the low farm gate prices that they get and the subsidies that favour the larger producers to build a model that the government have promoted to export beef and dairy to newer and newer markets. Do you see a change in government policy when it comes to how these things work in terms of the just transition for the smaller farmers, but also in a policy to reduce our emissions? And that just brings me on to the next question, which is
on meat production. One of the interesting things that we did have, and it's indeed in some of the slides linked to our technical report, is we looked at where the beef industry is located in Ireland. And you're right, the dairy industry is very much to the south and west, and the beef industry is west, east, but in the top half of the country. Not exclusively, of course, but large numbers of it. And you're right to say that we have a lot of small farmers who are in beef, many of whom do not make any money from that activity. And this again comes from the Teagasc figures, the farm surveys that they do every year. And the challenge that we have, and this again we've gone to again and again, is that the issue we need to deal with in this context is income streams for farmers. That farmers need to be able to run their farms in a way that is profitable for them and for their families and ultimately for their communities, that's consistent with our climate action, and that allows them to be innovative in the environment that they find themselves. And for some of the small beef farmers who currently today don't make money from beef and are surviving on Pillar 1 payments coming out of CAP, then we should be looking at how do you support those farmers into income streams that are more beneficial for them. And that's part of some of the initiatives that Teagasc has mentioned in its listing of things going forward. I'm not going to make comments on the structure of the industry because it's something that the Council of itself hasn't actually discussed in any detail. When we look at the whole question of the double metrics of energy efficiency and emissions reductions,